Hey, welcome to another quick hit of the Biz Show. I'm Barry. Before we jump in, I wanted to do just a quick, say a quick word in regards to Investquire. A couple of people have asked who Investquire is, so let me explain what it is, and the dynamics, and how all that works. So, Lisa Manifold, the other host here in the Biz Show, and I are co-founders and managing partners of Investquire. Investquire is a business brokerage firm and also an investor relations advisory firm. So we work with business owners, founders, buyers, and investors on everything from growing, improving company to raising capital, buying businesses, and preparing companies for an eventual exit. So that's kind of what Investquire is. So the Biz Show, that's our weekly podcast. Lisa and I get together. We talk about things that are happening daily, things about business, educating you guys on business. A lot of you guys are brand new startup businesses, founders, owners, but you don't really know what to do. So that's where this comes in, right? That's exactly what we're doing today, too. So today, I'm going to give you 7 numbers every business owner should know without calling their accountant. Not eventually, not after you pull up QuickBooks. If I ask you the 7 questions about your business today, you should be able to know at least approximately what these numbers are. So this is our quick hit for in between season 4 and season 5. So here we go. Number 1, the first number you need to know on a daily basis, revenue. What is revenue? Revenue is the total sales before anything. So all the money coming in, that's your revenue. So let's say that if your company made $2 million worth of product in sales or services this year, $2 million is your revenue. You should know your monthly income, your year-to-date revenue, prior year's revenue, whether the revenue is growing or declining, and where that revenue is coming from. But here's the mistake. A lot of people that we chat with, they think, well, let's just put it this way. The mistake is revenue is not profit, right? So just because all that money's coming in, you got a lot of things to pay, right? You got your lease, your rent, your mortgage. Well, not mortgage, but for your business, payroll, taxes. If you're buying goods, then cost of goods sold, things like that. So if a $10 million can be profitable, or it cannot be profitable. And the same with a $2 million company. A $2 million company can make more money than a $10 million company in profit. And we'll discuss that. So think about that. Number 2, gross profit. What is gross profit? There's a gross margin, there's a gross profit. They're different. So let's take a look. Gross profit. What is gross profit? Gross profit tells you how much money is retained after paying direct cost required to deliver those sales or goods. So think of it as this way. Revenue minus cost of goods sold, that's your gross profit. So example, you've done $1 million in revenue. Your direct cost for that is $600,000. That's your direct cost in delivering that. Therefore, your gross profit is $400,000. So what still needs to come out of that, right? Well, let's see. $400,000 now has to pay for everything else, right? Your salaries, your rent, insurance, your marketing, technology, professional services, administration, all that other good stuff needs to come out of that. So hopefully there's something left for you at the end, right? That's a whole nother thing, but we'll talk about that. So the third number you need to know is your gross margin. So gross margin is a dollar amount, right? And that dollar amount is, gross profit is a dollar amount. Gross margin is a percentage. So again, If you've done $1 million in sales and it costs you $600,000 to deliver those sales, and your gross profit is 400,000, math's pretty simple, right? Then now you're doing 40%. So you got a 40% gross margin. So why does that matter? Because percentages make it easier for us and you to identify changes in the business, right? They're real easy. Dollar numbers are kind of get skewed because of various different reasons. But if your revenue grows 20%, but your gross margin falls from 40 to 30, something is happening, right? Possibilities might include supplier costs have gone up, labor costs have gone up or increased. You've discounted a product or a service too much. Your product your product mix has changed, right? You've added things in, you've taken things out, it's adjusted slightly, and that could skew your numbers. Pricing isn't keeping up with what the costs are, the rising costs, right? With inflation and everything else going on, costs might go up, and a lot of companies have not gone up exactly with the cost of living or the cost, so on and so forth. That's going to decrease their gross profit and their margin. So the next number you need to know is your operating expenses, right? Operating expenses are the costs required to run the business that are not directly tied to producing an individual product or service. So what is that? Operating cost is payroll, rent, insurance, marketing, software or subscriptions, utilities, office expenses, professional fees, travel, management costs, so on and so forth. So those things make up, in addition to your gross margin. Now you got to take that out of, all that stuff out of what's left over, that 40%, $400,000, based on our example that we used above. So knowing these expenses for you as an owner is very, very important. Why? Because it tells you what it costs you simply to keep the doors open. And keeping those doors open also needs to tell you, well, how can I cut expenses? So ask yourself this: what am I getting from these expenses? A $5,000 expense that generates $25,000 in profit may be valuable. A $500 subscription nobody uses and wastes, get rid of it. Nobody needs that. And go check all your subscriptions, because these things pile up. Just the other day, I was looking at all the different subscriptions that we have and what we're using them and how we use them, and are we using them properly. So take a look at those things. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes. Net profit. That's what you really want to take a look at. This is where the rubber meets the road. Net profit is what's left after the business has paid its expenses. It's, in simple terms, it's revenue minus all the expenses. That's your net profit. Suppose that $1 million company, gross profit of 400,000, operating and other expenses is $325,000. Well, guess what? You've got $75,000 left over. So that $75,000 now is your net profit. You generated $1 million in sales, but ultimately you only kept $75,000. So is that a profitable company for you? Well, you can decide whether that's enough for you or not. And I want to talk about one thing here too. So you need to know, right, your net profit, your net margin, profitability, so on and so forth. But let me ask you this: are you going to put that $75,000 in your pocket, or are you going to invest some of that money back into the company for new tools, new products, new resources, maybe some additional things that didn't come out of the original operating expenses? So that. All right, the next thing you need to know, and this you need to know on a regular basis, is cash on hand. So cash on hand is, so this is the number I want owners to look at the most frequently. Cash on hand is equal to the liquid cash the business has available right now. You could write a check, you could pull out the cash and spend it. So cash on hand is actually liquid cash that's available right now. So it's not revenue from invoices coming in. It's not money that customers have promised you. It's not inventory sitting on the shelves because you can't spend that. It's not your equipment. It's not future contracts. It's cash on hand. That's why it's called cash on hand. How long could a business operate if revenue suddenly stopped? That's also a big thing too, right? So if you have $150,000 cash on hand and $50,000 monthly cash requirements and your revenue stopped, you basically got 3 months, right? 3 months to get things straightened out and figured out and get things back on track, or you're basically going to be done. And then the last thing that you really need to take a look at is, and the number that you should know is your accounts receivable, because that's the money your customers owe you and they haven't paid you for that yet. So this number, this actually fools a lot of business owners because they think, oh, great, my accounts receivable, I've got $150,000 in accounts receivable. And then we drill down and look at it. Yeah, but you only got $20,000 in bank, cash on hand. So that's great. That money's promised to you, but also you need to collect it. Whether they're going to pay it on time, they're going to pay it late, are they going to pay it at all? So those are definitely things that you need to pay attention to. So $500,000 in sales, $200,000 in receivables, and $30,000 in the bank. On paper, the business looks good. In reality, payroll is due on Friday, and you don't have enough to cover it. What are you going to do? So also know your aging, right? Your aging. What's aging? Aging is what are the terms for your customers to pay you? Are they net 30, net 60, net 90? And what that means is they're going to pay you in 30 days. They're going to pay you in 60 days. They're going to pay you in 90 days, right? Most everything is really net 30 now. Most of the time, even net 15. A lot of businesses you pay up front. So you give them your credit card, like websites and stuff like that. You put in your credit card and they bill you every single month. So when they typically bill you up front, you pay for it, and then they bill you again, you keep going. And that's typically how subscriptions and software as a service works, stuff like that. If you take and put all of these numbers together, right? Here's why these numbers matter together. Imagine I tell you my company did $5 million last year. That sounds impressive, doesn't it? But now I ask, well, what's your gross profit? What's your gross margin? What's your operating? What's the net? What's your cash on hand look like? And how much money do you have sitting in receivables? Suddenly, we now know that the $5 million company actually is healthy or is not healthy very quick just by asking those quick questions. So, anyways, just keep these numbers in mind. You've heard me say this so many times through all of our podcasts from season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Know your numbers. And this is the reason why you need to know your numbers. And the other reason is so that you can, I say, know them on a daily basis. Because if you know them on a daily basis, then you can see the trending that's happening, going on. You can jump in front of it. So you got 30 days. Payrolls due every 2 weeks, maybe once a month. Don't know. But you've got time to react. If you wait till the 27th to figure out and look at your numbers, and then all of a sudden, I'm way short. I'm missing $10,000, $15,000, and I'm not going to make it. You got 3 days to figure that plan out versus 30 days to figure that thing out, right? So, all right, guys, look, I'm Barry with the Biz Show. Looking forward to season 5 coming up here in a couple weeks. Lisa and I'll be doing quick hits for you in the meantime, so we're not going anywhere. You always find every week a podcast here for you. This is a quick hit. You guys have a great day, and now go out and make some money. Bye.